Well, we are officially boiling here. Definitely have a long way to go. This is about 50 gallons went in here, almost 60, and this thing holds a lot of sap, but it'll take a while for it to really get rolling. Well, we've got most all of our frozen sap out of the forest. I think I have a few more frozen buckets to carry out of there. So now it's time to get our big transportation tank put in the truck and get out into the woods and collect all the sap that ran over last night and is running today. So there should be quite a bit out there. I'm not sure if we'll have a bunch of full buckets or not, but we should have at least some 1/4 and half buckets out there. So now that I have all this frozen stuff boiling, as this boils down, it'll make room for me to continue to add more. So let's grab that tank and get out in the woods and see what we've got. Things are now starting to thaw out around here, so this place is going to be an absolute muddy mess. This is normally grass. It won't be after this maple season. My trails that go back to the maple forest on the sides of the field, they'll be completely mud, and everything just gets so muddy as this stuff thaws out. But it's this time of year. And this is pretty much the collection rig for this year. We've got a food grade RV hose hooked up to the IBC tote, and this is a 255 gallon tote, so we can put quite a bit of sap in here. This was supposed to allow me to actually get out and collect sap from other locations, but I actually don't even have enough buckets and taps to get all the trees that I have on my property. So we'll use this next year probably. But so if you're using these IBC totes, this is the real trick. This little adapter right here. This is what's going to make everything good for you. And I'll put a link in the description to this on Amazon. There are like 3 different types of threads, and I think mine had the fine thread. But if you go to this product, the guy offers all 3 kinds, and he was really helpful with helping me figure out which one. He has pictures of the different connections, and you can just look at yours and then get the right adapter. So this allows you to hook up a hose adapter to this, and then of course that'll make it useful for me, so I can get the sap into the greenhouse. Now last year I did use a funnel on my 55 gallon drum. I had a funnel system set up, but this actually has a pretty good size hole on the top, and so I don't think I'll need a funnel to get my 5 gallon bucket up here and dump it in. It won't be easy, but it's gonna have to work. The tank has been cleaned out, and I do use bleach in these tanks. I let bleach water sit in there, and then I rinse it and rinse it and rinse it, and I have never had any problem with using bleach to clean out our buckets or our tanks and containers. Obviously you don't want to put too much in there, you don't want to flavor your sap, but I've used bleach and I've used dish soap in our bucket. So I've had issues with neither of those with using any of those cleaning products. I just want to make sure that all this equipment is nice and clean before we fill it with sap. It's super windy today, so I probably won't be doing a whole lot of commentary. Even with my microphone and my windsock on, it's sounding awful, I'm sure. So we're gonna let's get out in the woods and collect some sap. interesting. Kind of a mushroom or something, isn't it? I think they're big white tops on them normally. And they burst open. It's weird. It's probably poisonous or something. Today is the easiest day that I'm gonna have collecting this sap. This is all pretty much ice throughout here. But as the temperatures warm up, this is all gonna thaw into a big old lake. So this year I've got a trick up my sleeve to tackle this when it does thaw out this week. But it's still just a little difficult walking around on the ice. I just fell down and basically dropped a bucket of sap on my face. So it's a little cold, but and I wasted about 4 gallons of sap, which is probably the biggest tragedy of the whole thing. But it's still hard out here walking on all this ice, but it's way easier than it's going to be next week when I come out here and I'm just walking through the mud and the water. Well, I've just about got this section of the forest collected. Got just over 40 gallons here, but looking up at the greenhouse, I can see that the evaporator, there's no smoke coming out of the stack, so it looks like it might need some more wood. So I gotta run up there, we'll deliver some sap and feed the fire. Well, since we've been out collecting, looks like we've boiled through probably about 15 gallons, maybe 20 gallons out of the pan. And I let the fire go out pretty much, so I should have came up a while ago and fed it, but it'll get boiling here again in just a few minutes. Well, it's been boiling for a little while here, so it's time to start adding some of our fresh sap in there. And I'll show you how I do that. So we'll just be running the hose from the IBC tote. It's elevated just enough to get a flow going into the pan. And I have one of these cone pre-filters, and I just use this for sap. They're pretty thin. They don't filter out any of the sugar sand or anything for your finished product, but this is perfect for the sap, just to make sure any little pieces of sticks or bark or anything else that got in the buckets while we're out collecting gets filtered out, so we don't boil that in the sap there. Well, we're still boiling pretty good here as the sap kind of slowly drains in from our reserve tank there out of the truck, and it'll probably be going for quite a few more hours here tonight, so we'll let this batch continue to go. So my job for the rest of the night is just to keep an eye on this. Last year, if you follow along with the channel, you know we had a huge failure letting this thing go overnight, and went in and went to bed, and well, I'll put a link to that video up in the card system there. So you really got to keep an eye on this boil. It can, if you just let it go and it evaporates all off, it'll just wreck it, burn it out. And so we need to make sure that the fire continues to go hot and keep it boiling, but we don't want to overboil it and evaporate it all down to nothing. So collected about 60 gallons of sap total today, and pretty happy with that on a day that really didn't run very heavily. So we'll get another 60 to 80 tomorrow, I'm assuming, and we'll just keep on going. The real question is, will I make my goal of 2,000 gallons of sap? It's gonna be tough. I have every tap and every bucket, every piece of tubing that I own out in the woods collecting sap, and so I've got a shot at getting close, but we'll see. We better have a good season this year, or else I'm not going to make it. So we'll keep you guys updated for that, and we'll take you guys along on the next video for finishing the syrup off inside and giving it a taste test. We'll see what this batch turns out like. So don't forget to hit thumbs up on the video, and if you're just your first time here, of course, subscribe and hit the little bell. Make sure you get notifications. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good one.